Hello, Wasp, on your move, madman, and I'm back here today. Pretty sure I said in my last video I wasn't going to do this, but I have to. I'm really sorry, but it just has to be done. So today we're going to be talking about Ant-Man and Kate from Lost, QuANTuMANia. So I did say in my last video that I wasn't going to talk about this film until it was out, but I've changed my mind. Okay, sorry, it does happen. People do change their minds every now and then, a bit like when I tell you I'm going to do a series on something and then I don't. It's called changing your mind. So that's what I've done. I changed my mind, and so today that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp, QuANTuMANia, the new film that came out on the 17th of February in the cinema. I have a very good reason why I want to talk about this, so that's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm pretty sure basically every time I go online these days, I read something on Facebook or something on Google saying about how bad this film is, and it's just not the case. So I just wanted to let you know that don't listen to those reviews. It's got a really low score on Rotten Tomato. People have been comparing it to Eternals, which has an equally low score on Rotten Tomatoes as well, but it's nothing like Eternals. To be fair, Eternals didn't work as a film because they tried to paint a story out for 10 characters. Trying to do an origin story for 10 characters in one movie just isn't going to happen. Quite why they didn't make Eternals into a Disney Plus show, I have absolutely no idea, because that would have worked so much better as a show rather than trying to squeeze everything into 2 hours and 20 minutes in the cinema. So we won't talk about Eternals because there's so many things they could have done to that just to make it a million times better. Tiny little tweaks could have made it a million times better, but whatever. So a lot of people have been complaining about Ant-Man, crying about it. I didn't understand what was going on because I hadn't seen the Disney Plus shows that were set before it. Right, okay, so I'll stop you there. Got a really easy answer to that. Go and watch the Disney Plus shows. It's not hard. I don't see you guys struggling to sit through Stranger Things on Netflix every time it's released, so quite why you guys feel like you have to cry about it every time Disney Plus release a Marvel show. They're like, oh, I just want to watch it in a film. It's like, well, it's not a film, it's a show, so get over it and go and watch it, or stop complaining that you don't understand what's going on. Alright, so there's your first hurdle you could jump over there. All you have to do is watch a couple of shows on Disney Plus and everything in Ant-Man will make sense up to that point, and then the rest is explained as the film goes on. So you can stop moaning about that, because if you haven't watched the Disney Plus shows first, that's your fault. So don't dig at the people making the films or the story or the people in the films, because it's got nothing to do with them. That's on you. Alright, it's not difficult to subscribe to Disney Plus, or if you don't want to subscribe to a streaming service, use someone else's. Go around someone's house that likes Marvel and say, would you like to rewatch those Marvel shows? Because I'd like to see them. Pretty sure they'd probably say yes. Alright, because Marvel fans like watching Marvel, don't they? Otherwise they wouldn't be fans. You dumbass. Okay, so I will give you 100% honesty for this movie. Alright, there was one character in Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I'm not going to talk about, because apparently I talked about it with one of my friends at work, and it turned out it was a little bit of a spoiler because he didn't know this character was going to be in the film. So I'm not going to tell you who this character is, but there is one character in that entire movie where my brain just thought to myself, you could have done the CGI for that character a little bit better. Considering how much money Disney actually has, you would have thought they would have spent a bit more on the CGI for that particular character, but they didn't. Maybe they didn't want to, Or maybe they thought, oh, everyone's going to hate this anyway because everybody hated Phase 4, so why is anyone going to like Phase 5? Although you would think if Disney knew that everybody hated Phase 4, they would start trying to find ways to improve this now, but they decided not to. Story-wise, I'm not really going to go too much into the story because obviously it's still in the cinema and I don't really want to spoil it for people that haven't seen it, but it's a Marvel story. It's exactly what you expect from a Marvel story. Maybe that's why people have a problem with it, because they're just like, oh, it's just the same as everything else. And it's like, well, you haven't complained about the last 35 films that are all exactly the same, so I don't know why it's a problem that this one is the same as all of them. You know, people like moaning, don't they? A bit like I am at the moment, but I'm moaning about people moaning. Does that count? I don't know. Does it count as still moaning? Probably. But you know, sometimes you have to moan to get your point across. So sorry, Moni. Go and watch Ant-Man, alright? If you're a fan of the Marvel franchise, you've got nothing to worry about. If you thought Phase 4 was poo, you'd be right, but this is better. The first chapter in Phase 5, this is building up to those new Avengers films. Alright, I'm willing to bet that everyone's going to want to go see those new Avengers films. They'll skip all of Phase 4 and 5 and go and watch the new Avengers films and be like, oh, I don't understand what's going on. And it's like, well, obviously, because you've missed a whole thing, haven't you? You missed the gap, you need to watch it all, you idiot. It's a bit like if you were watching a TV show, you wouldn't watch Series 1 and then skip Series 2 and Series 3 and then continue with Series 4, would you? Because you'd have no idea what's going on. So why you'd do that with a film franchise, I don't know. Like, oh, I'll watch the films, but I won't watch the shows because, you know, they take longer. Because Avengers Endgame was 3 hours long, so that's not a long film at all. But, you know, God forbid, you ask someone to sit through something that's 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's too long. Too long. Sorry. Can't. That's too much. 3 hours is alright, but 3 hours and 15 minutes, oh, that's just too much. You're an idiot. I say that with love. I love everyone that watches this. I have a go at a lot of people. Just so you're aware, the people I'm having a go at aren't the people watching this video. They're the people not watching this video. Makes sense, doesn't it? I have a go at people that don't watch it, because then they can't have a go back at me because they don't hear it, do they? That's how you get away with it at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand, really. I mean, out of all of the Marvel films that I've seen, Ant-Man and the Wasp, QuANTuMAnia, is definitely nowhere near the bottom. I would probably put it maybe in the top 15 films out of all of the films that there are. It's up there for me. It's up there. I know a lot of people might turn around and be like, oh, this film was crap because of this and this. I didn't notice any of that. Sorry. I don't watch it for those reasons. I watch it to see if I'm going to enjoy it, if it's going to be a fun Marvel film, if it's going to be a fun comic book movie, which it was. It was fun. It was funny. Paul Rudd adds his comedic charisma to the film as well, so that was all part of it too. I did see a couple of videos talking about how it was called Ant-Man and the Wasp wasn't really in it that much. I didn't really notice that in the film, but I'm pretty sure if I was to watch it again, I'd be like, oh yeah, she's not really there. It didn't really dawn on me until I'd actually seen some of these other videos that the Wasp was a little bit absent. I'll tell you that. Maybe she was too busy going away so that she could come back. I don't know how Evangeline Lilly works. You'd have to ask her. You jump on Instagram, speak to Evangeline Lilly, she might be able to tell you why she wasn't in it that much. Maybe she was too busy thinking about Lost. I don't know. All in all, I would say, if you've heard a lot of negative things about Ant-Man, just ignore it. Go and watch the film and make the decision for yourself. That's the best way to do it. It's the best way to do it with all films, really. Don't listen to someone else's opinion. I've said that before. Make the decision yourself. Make an opinion for yourself. Don't base your opinion on someone else's opinion. Cool? You understand that, don't you? I hope. Anyway, I'm gonna go away now. I've got a little franchise surprise for you on Wednesday. I'm gonna start talking about one of the most milked, over the top, overhyped movie franchises ever. I'm going to start talking about them on Wednesday. So you got that to look forward to. But until then, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to fuck off. Okay? Goodbye.